Hey, hey, hey. Happy Thursday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, welcome back to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the grand poobah. I am the founder and editor-in-chief of The Gaming Gang. So if this is your first time tuning in, welcome aboard. Kick back, relax. This is very, very casual. This is not rocket surgery by any stretch of the imagination. Just hanging out, mainly talking about tabletop gaming. So board games, role-playing games, miniatures games, card games. If you're playing it on your tabletop, we're probably talking about it. Every once in a while, we'll talk PC gaming like tonight. And on occasion, pop culture kind of rears its head as well. If you are someone who watches quite often, thank you for joining me once again. So you can listen to me just pontificate endlessly about different things. And of course, let me also mention that if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that little notification bell. Because not only will it let you know when the Daily Dope streams live, Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube. I'll also tell you when I upload other videos, such as today's first look at Dungeons and Dragons, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Yes, that video went up today. And I also share how you can win my copy of the alternate art cover edition. Yes, it's all in the video. All in the video. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Because this is a live stream, that means chat is available here on YouTube. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But I do my best to pay attention to chat. So if you want to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question, a comment, by all means, please chime in. I will do my best to respond. Got to point out, we've got a lot of chat zipping past already. I believe Ibram was the first out the gate tonight in chat, saying Stratego. Okay. Are we supposed to be playing Stratego? I don't know. One thing I will mention, it looks like we are having the frame issue again tonight. I don't know what the hell's going on, I swear. We'll see what happens. It's kind of weird because sometimes it'll be early, we get some hiccups, and then we smooth out for the rest of the show. So like right now it shows like 11% of the frames have dropped. I think we had something like this last night, which isn't surprising because YouTube had major issues when we were trying to do our stream, right? Anyway, so, and I think by the end of the show, it was down to like 0.2%. So Ibram's in chat. A Great A is in chat. Who else we got? Kabuki Kid is here as well as Flaming Huron. And zipping on through, I believe that might be. I think that is about it. All right. So there is some discussion here. So Grade A is asking, is it illegal to wear a Saints hat in Illinois? This actually is not a Saints hat. This is just a New Orleans hat. Because the symbol for Nolans is actually the what do they call it? The fleur de lis, something like that. Whatever. So this is not a Saints hat, or it could be just a cheapo Saints hat, right? Because there's no NFL logos or anything on this. It's just, I got to be honest, I like New Orleans, and I don't mind the Saints. Just like you saw, what was it, yesterday? Was it yesterday I was wearing the San Diego Padres hat? Might have been. I don't know. It's during this pandemic, it's all just one long day. So, oh, there we go. It's in the lead-in to the video, Stratego. Thank you, Ibram. I was like, huh, what? Yes, because I threw out like a bunch of old games, right? So there's like Squad Leader. So Flaming Heron says there's gremlins at work in the Duct Tape Studios. Fleur de Lis. Just like there's a city in Idaho, and it's just on the other side of the border to Washington State. So it's almost like connected to Spokane. And it is I think it's Coeur d'Alene, something like that. So it was, oh gosh, that beautiful lake. Because I used to deliver, when I would deliver RVs to Seattle, that's how you go. You go up that way, and really, really nice area. Seemed like Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, or whatever it's called, would be probably a pretty nice area to live. So the Madman's arrived. So we haven't seen the Madman this week. Of course, yesterday was gaming night for the Madman, and then I guess because we had some pretty nice weather here in the Midwest earlier in the week, now it's gotten colder, he was taking care of outside business. So very cool. How do I know that? Because the Madman shot me a tweet on Twitter, which you can do too if you want. Of course, you can reach me at The Gaming Gang over on Twitter. All right, so as I mentioned, did get that video for Tasha's Cauldron of Everything up, which I have to admit, I was kind of surprised. So Ibram says, yeah, I want to go back to the 70s. Yeah, we didn't have the issues that we got now. Well, we had some of the issues. They just weren't as blatant, I think. Most clan members used to keep their hoods on, you know. Anyway, but I have to be honest, I wasn't too sure how popular the Tasha's Cauldron of Everything video was going to be. I had no idea how much, you know, demand there is for the book. Plus, there was that leak, which I don't know. So Ibram's talking about the temperatures. I thought he was talking about the 1970s because of Stratego. And a great is like, you miss waiting in line for gas? That was 1 year, for crying out loud. What was it, 75? I think it was 75. That was back when they had leaded gas that smelled like rotted tomatoes. At least that's what it smelled to me like. Yes, I remember leaded gas. Anyway, so I thought, oh, wow, you know, I don't know. But I figured, okay, I'm probably first out the gate with a Tasha's Cauldron of Everything video, right? And I made sure I was covering up some pages and stuff like that. Because, you know, I mean, pirates gotten desperate. They were actually sharing, which they've never done before. But they were sharing, what was it? I think it was the last, it was Rime of the Frost Maiden. They were actually sharing screenshots from my video. I was like, seriously? It's not that clear to read. Are you, like, nutty? So Ibram's like, I wasn't alive in the 1970s. It's like, okay, relax, man. It wasn't that bad. The music wasn't all that awesome, especially AM radio music, especially early 70s. Muskrat Love. Anywho, so long story short, so I shoot the video. I started shooting it about 30 minutes between about 30 minutes and an hour after it actually showed up at my door. And of course, uploaded it, had to wait for, yeah, had to wait for everything to, you know, render and all the other stuff. And in the first 4 hours, it's already got about 1,600 views, which is pretty amazing because the last D&D video that I did, I was a little disappointed in the numbers. There were about 2,200 views for the unboxing for Curse of Strahd revamped, and about, I think, like 980 views on the review. So pretty low compared to most D&D stuff. I think Rime of the Frost Maiden, altogether, the videos have gotten about 37,000 views, which I know for most channels, they'd be like, yeah, big deal. So what? But for me, you know, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. So, talking about bands from the 70s. Yes, we had Zeppelin. Yes, we had the early Ramones. The Plasmatics. I don't remember the Plasmatics. If I remember right, I think, didn't we have early Cars? I think the Cars were like 79-ish. My music kind of experience kind of begins around 78, 79. Because before that, I was, just a little kid. You listen to the music your parents listen to, and my mom listened to, like country, stuff like that. So Kabuki Kid says that her mom dated one of the guys in the Plasmatics. No joke. ELO, that was a good band. Brian Grunberg has joined us in chat. Good to see you, Brian. Hopefully I've said hello to everybody who is hanging out in chat so far. All right, let's jump on into the news. We've been kind of babbling on here for a bit, but I got a good mixture of news tonight. So first off, now available from Floodgate Games is Cosmic Colonies. Here's the dope. An orbit drafting game of building a home in the stars. A tile placement resource management game where players build a home on their own asteroid. Worker cards rotate around the table after being selected. Asteroids blast through the cosmos, each one packed with possibilities. One may be your perfect new home, but it takes a stellar team, I guess no pun intended there, right, to build a cosmic colony. Players must leverage their workers' unique abilities to gather resources and construct new buildings while cleverly expanding their colonies. Each round brings new opportunities and new talent. Your old workers will blast off to other players while their workers orbit around to join your team. Using clever planning, you can build the best celestial city to shine and the brightest in cosmic colonies. What the hell? Can I not read English again today? What's going on? I will point out, Pinky is down here in fine form early. In fact, she's been carrying on for about the length of time that we've been doing the stream. Although, the good old Sure SMB 57 really doesn't pick her up. Cosmic Colonies is for 1 to 5 players, ages 13 and up, plays around 30 to 45 minutes. Does carry an MSRP of $44.99. This is designed by Scott Alms, which I was kind of surprised. I thought, is Scott allowed to design games for anybody other than Gamelin Games? I guess so. This could be kind of neat. This looks like another one of those games that has kind of the, I forget what they call the mechanic, but where the pieces are sort of Tetris shaped. Baron Park is a game that does that. A lot of the Uwe Rosenberg games that he did for, I should say a lot. I think there's 3. I think it's a trilogy. Agrede is pointing out, is it like My City? I think Agrede is right. I think My City is also another one that kind of utilizes this. Although, Polyomino. Thank you, Kabuki Kid. So, this kind of looks okay. It's got like a lot of different worker cards, so I thought that's kind of cool. or maybe they're kind of like resource cards too. So pretty sweet. Moving right along, Flying Pig Games has launched a Kickstarter earlier today for the World War III with a twist war game, The Long Road. And here is the dope from my friend Mark H. Walker. Hello, my name is Mark H. Walker. That's why I'm telling you this is coming from Mark, because my name is not Mark H. Walker. And Long Road is the game I've always wanted to design. An easily accessible World War III war and strategy game with a paranormal twist. But what, you might ask, is World War III with a twist? In short, it's a World War III themed board game with paranormal elements. Based on the fiction that I created in my Dark War novels, Revelation and Retribution, and expanded in the Dark War RPG and skirmish game, The Long Road depicts a Third World War sparked not by conflicting ideologies, but rather the backstage maneuvering of paranormal entities with their own set of agendas. Agendas that are fleshed out in the game's 16 scenarios. For many of the scenarios, gamers will take the role of a Soviet or NATO regimental or brigade commander, controlling platoons of 1985-era tanks, infantry, and weapons as they play through a story-driven campaign using the easy-to-learn, fun-to-play platoon commander system that I designed, Mark H. Walker designed, in 2015. In some of these scenarios, the game's artificial intelligence will control paranormal elements that directly impact the combatants and move the story forward. For example, a strange, otherworldly electrical storm that roams the battlefield, hampering electronics and limiting engagement ranges. Or perhaps a zombie horde of unknown origin that pours from a city, attacking American and Soviet soldiers alike. In other scenarios, you'll be able to directly control strange forces as they either fight NATO or Soviet soldiers or other paranormal entities. For instance, you might lead a Lycan clan ambushing a Soviet convoy, the Unchanged clan members fighting with RPD, RPGs, and assault rifles, while their werewolf brethren assault with fang and claw. In another scenario, vampires with high-tech weaponry battle Lycans to keep the Lycan from overrunning the vampire coven. Crazy, right? But it's done with a next-level iteration of the popular platoon commander system, in a way we hope piques wargamers' interest. Make no mistake, The Long Road is a war game, but a war game with a twist. All right, the fine folks over at Flying Pig Games have put together a short Kickstarter video. It's about 2 minutes. So let's take a peek.
This is AFN Stuttgart
Swap Shop.
This is 1985. This is World War III. The Long Road is a reenactment of the Cold War gone hot, surreptitiously triggered by a third party acting in the shadows. An ancient, despicable, sinister power determined to rule mankind. Assassinations and bombings have rapidly escalated into all-out war. And now NATO's defences are fragmented. The reckless speed of the Red Army's assault is more than Western technology and training could stop. Based on the platoon commander system, the Long Road is simple to play, with interactive phases, color-coded counters, and clear consequences to your choices. As a player, you need to command and maneuver not only your rank and file grunts, but also make the best possible use of your legends, heroes, commanders, and champions as they can turn the tide of a battle. Although not a card-driven game, the Long Road's action cards add chaos as well as a take-that element. They can be used to call artillery strikes, airstrikes, or allow a unit to fire multiple times, and much more. This is World War III. However, this is not your typical World War III. In a war sparked by mysterious actions, fought in the midst of unexplained events, nothing is routine. Demons ravage battles with electrical storms that sweep the map, and witches raise hordes of the undead to fight on their behalf. But not every scenario contains lycans or witches, or things that go bump in the night. Many in the Long Road's lengthy, story-driven campaign feature battles between the soldiers and equipment of the day. It is this delicious juxtaposition of realistic wargaming and the nightmares of our collective consciousness that makes The Long Road a uniquely rich strategy gaming experience. The Long Road, part military horror, part authentic recreation of World War III, but all fun.
The Long Road is for 2 players, ages 13 and up, with, well, okay, 13 and up is my guess. It's about the age level for Platoon Commander. Does, of course, have variable game time based on the scenario. You can reserve a copy of The Long Road for a $90 pledge unless you jump aboard either today or tomorrow, because you can score the game for $80. So, I got to be honest, I did not grab the expected delivery. So I think when I took a peek at it earlier, if I remember correctly, and it looks like a grade A is on the Kickstarter page, he just said it's $2,000 away from being funded. I think, if I remember right, I thought it was like June of next year. Might be wrong, but I believe it is June of next year. So there you have it. Another release from Mark H. Walker that's got a little spookiness to it. So I gotta say, now this game was from, now I want to say it was Lock and Load, wasn't it? That was a company that Mark used to run. Yeah, I was going to say, no, it's not Lock and Load. Yeah, it is Lock and Load. There was a game that he did for Lock and Load, and if I remember correctly, it's titled Nuclear Winter 68, which was along these lines, not as paranormal as this. If I remember correctly, it was more kind of almost like weird fantasy, but after, you know, almost like a Gamma World meets Real World. So yes, August, there you go. Thank you, Kabuki Kid. So it is, The Long Road is expected in August of next year. Cool, sweet. So I had to laugh because, let me kind of pop out here a little bit. When that video was playing, I noticed people in chat were like, so is there any Lovecraft in this? Right? So, and the funny thing is, that was the first thing I had kind of thought of. But I mean, I know there is no Cthulhu mythos involved in Mark's Dark Wars series, but wouldn't that be really cool? It doesn't have to be like 1980s. It could be modern. Because I'm the first one to point out, I don't know what the infatuation is with World War III, and it's always like 1985, 86. Always. So I would not mind seeing something like that. Now, the closest thing that I can think of, so a grade A says it might be a stretch goal. I don't think it will be. Because, once again, Mark is setting this in his Dark War setting that his 2 novels are in. So, I honestly really do think that we won't get any kind of Lovecraftian stuff in this. But there was the expansion for Hornet Leader from Danverson Games. And it's actually, I know you've got the bokeh, so you can't really make out the games behind me, but it is actually right there. It is the Cthulhu Conflict, which I got to be honest, I never had an opportunity to play it because Danverson Games sent it to me to review. I did an unboxing video. This is years ago. This is back when I was in Arizona. But I never had a Hornet Leader. So I was like, ugh. But it did look really, really cool. So, Twilight 2000, says Scott, was not 1985 based. No, it wasn't. But that was a role-playing game. We're talking board games, man. Ha! Gotcha, Scott. You thought you had me, but you didn't. The war games, the World War III war games are almost always 1984, 1985. It's a lot of it is 85. I don't know why. I don't recall things being that, that close to us going to war with the Ruskies back in 85. I don't know. Good to see you, Scott. Welcome aboard. Good to have you in chat. All right. Something else I thought was kind of funny is Kabuki Kid is like, are those prototype pieces they're playing with? Because it must be. It's like, no, it's not. Those are the pieces you're going to get, and you're going to like it. No, I'm kidding. You could tell it. This is another one of those games from Flying Pig Games. It has a nice, big, chunky counters, too. I definitely do like that. So Brian Gronberg says, what would you think of something like Rise and Decline at the Third Reich mixed with cathodic? I've never heard that term before, cathodic, or other eldritch elements. Oh my God, that would blow my mind. I gotta admit, and Scott will be able to attest to this because we tried playing Third Reich. We just called it Third Reich back in the day. I don't recall us ever finishing a game. I don't recall ever finishing it up. So Scott says World War III in gaming is tied to the Cold War, tied to Reagan and Gorbachev. They didn't need to stretch their imagination much. Not really. No, not really. All right. So I thought that was kind of cool. That is a new Kickstarter from my pal, Mark H. Walker. I'm kind of surprised we didn't see Mark pop into chat. Every once in a while when he knows there's going to be a news piece from either Flying Pig Games or Tiny Battle Publishing, which is another company he owns, he sometimes pops on in. Sometimes Eddie does too from Flying Pig Games. But guess not tonight. Oh, well. You missed out, Mark. Here we were singing your praises of the game. Oh, well. So Scott Weigel says, Mike McCormick. Yeah, I remember Mike. And he finished Third Reich in Longest Day. Oh my God. I always kid around that the longest day, the Avalon Hill game, would be the longest day of gaming in your lifetime. So kind of funny. Mike McCormick, good old Mike McCormick. He was actually an NPC in a Call of Cthulhu campaign that I ran. And he actually ended up coming back as an undead zombie. Longtime viewers of the Daily Dope may have run across this story before. I'm not going to repeat it because it's kind of long. But it is, I've mentioned before, my best friend, Elliot Miller. He can tell you in great detail a Call of Cthulhu adventure that we played, almost 40 years ago. But he can't tell you what he had for lunch. And that is one aspect of a campaign that he'll never, ever forget. So Brian says that his dad still has his copies of The General. Yeah, nice. Very nice. That was a pretty good house organ. So it had a lot of useful information. Unlike some of the magazines that came out during that time were a little, especially the ones that were house organs, not so hot. All right, let's get back into the news because the latest free PC game has arrived over at the Epic Game Store. Here's the dope on The Texorcist from MorbidWare and Headup Games. Get ready for an electrifying mix between bullet hell and typing games. Yes, you heard me right. Dodge bullets while typing exorcisms at the very same time. Turn on both sides of your brain and jump into the adventure of Ray Bibita, or I think it's Babia, a private exorcist who's going to face the threats of a demonic outbreak and deal with his dark and sinful past at the same time. A city in decay, streets filled with thugs, crime, and censorship, and only one man to stop it all. You know, stop the censorship? Okay. Doesn't really seem to fall in with the other stuff. Groundbreaking gameplay, exorcists, demons, metal singers, pimps, the Pope, drama, bad jokes, and tons of hardcore action-filled boss battles for the first type-em-up game ever realized. In order to defeat the forces of evil, learn how to type your exorcisms with your keyboard or with your joypad while dodging tons of bullets, dealing with puddles of barf, defusing bombs, singing at the mic of a metal show, and more during intense boss battles. Easier said than done. Hold your Bible tight, both hands needed. Rome is the theater of our adventure. Discover new locations and fight in one of the biggest metropoli in history, home of some of the craziest characters and enemies. Behind a demonic outbreak, unearthly forces are scheming to seize power and subvert the order of the biggest religious organization in Rome. The Holy Church has reached unlimited powers over the streets of the city. But how can our protagonists be sure of their good deeds? Unravel the demonic plot aimed to overturn the order in the city and put together the pieces of the dark past behind Ray Bibia. From goth maids to gun-crazed gangsters and the Pope himself, Ray will get his hands dirty by exploring a great variety of locations to solve a mystery that's going to grow heavier as it takes shape. Who's going to turn out to be a friend and who's going to stab Ray behind his back? Going to be in the back? Do have to point out, I don't believe that this is from an English-speaking developer. Are you a fast typer? Can you read and spell Latin while you dodge bullets? This is the game you've been looking for. Real exorcisms, English, Latin, and more. Real exorcisms? No, it's not. Avoid making mistakes and reach the highest combo. Compete with your friends by spelling the perfect exorcism and compare with their scores on online leaderboards. There is a launch video. This game's only been out about a year. So there is a launch video. It's about a minute and a half long or so. So you will actually get a peek at the Textorcist. The Textorcist is absolutely free through November 19th over at the Epic Games Store. Do want to point out, it is for mature audiences. So there's that. We saw a little 16-bit boobage there for a moment in that video. I got to be completely honest. This isn't going to be my kind of game. Not because of like the topic or anything. It's just I'm not very good at like bullet hell games. I mean, I can type okay, about 36 words a minute, thereabouts. But I don't know. But hey, it's free. And I did go take a look at the reviews, and it is. So I've said it before, I'll say it again. Usually what I'll do is I'll go see what is a free game at the Epic Game Store. Then I go over to Steam to see what the reviews are for it. And this is very positive. So Kabuki Kid says this is one odd theme for a bullet hell game. Yeah, it is. The Flaming Heron says, but are any of the 36 words legible? As he misspelled something and retracted it. Ha! See, that's what happens. Karma comes up and bites you in the rear end. Actually, yes, they are legible. So it's only 36 words per minute. That's not a lot. Maybe nowadays it is. But no, back in the day, I mean, that was not fantastic speed typing. All right. Anyway, moving right along. Let's talk a little role-playing game news. So Grady is talking about Renegade Game Studios has been named a tabletop role-playing game publisher partner for the World of Darkness by Paradox. I do not know what that means yet. So I don't know. I ran across that as well. I don't think they're cutting Modiphius out of the action. So I think it's important that they pointed out that it is the World of Darkness, not Vampire the Masquerade. So I don't know. Once again, that whole World of Darkness. Here, let's do this. Ding. I feel weird talking about one thing, and I'm showing you like the new space we just got done talking about. I gotta say that Kabuki Kid's like 60 plus words per minute. Oh, la-di-da. Kidding. So, what's the most recent volume of edition? I guess Brian means Vampire the Masquerade. Yes, it is 5th. It is the 5th edition of it. I thought it was all right. I got a review copy of it. It wouldn't be. Yes, 60 words per minute. Scott says 2-letter words. There aren't too many of those either. 60 or more is what you want if you're hiring somebody who types. Yeah, that's about right. In fact, if somebody was just doing like data entry or something like that, I think 35 words per minute was like the bare minimum that you would bring somebody on at. Anyway, so I honestly have no idea what this means. I don't know. Here's the thing, too, that you got to keep in mind. So Renegade has not done really well with their role-playing games. The Kids on Bikes, good. Kids on Bikes is really, really well done. And that is through Hunter Entertainment or Hunter's Books, Hunter's Entertainment, whatever you want to consider it. They had the new edition of Outbreak Undead, which was god awful. I know other people are out there saying they were like, "Oh yeah, this is good. Yeah, this is really good." It's like that was a bunch of BS. It was just ridiculously poorly put together, where it had all these various different optional rules and different optional levels of complexity. So rather than actually putting it together where it's like, well, here's the basic game, and here's the intermediate game, and here's the advanced game, they had it all mixed together throughout the book. It was ridiculous. So the Madman asks, don't they do Kids on Brooms? Yes, they do Kids on Brooms. I think that's the latest one. There's Kids in Space. So Kids on Bikes is kind of Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew, Stranger Things. It can kind of make it whatever you want it to be. Personally, I find Bubblegum Shoe to be a better system. I still think Bubblegum Shoe is great. All right, Kabuki Kid says that she hasn't read Kids on Bikes, but is interested in that. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. Keep an eye out because it goes on sale quite often. So, Disavowed 92 popped in. Yes, you're very welcome as far as the page through. I try to get this stuff out as quickly as I can. So, as I mentioned in the video, I had the book maybe about 30 minutes, but I had already known that it was on its way, and I had already had the graphics set up for it. So, all I had to do was unbox it, take it out of the box, come downstairs, start shooting. It's good to go. All right. Anyway, let's jump back into the news. Only got a couple of more news pieces here for us tonight. But this next one is going to be a long news piece because I'm going to talk about the Pathfinder releases from Paizo Inc. this month. Well, I shouldn't say this month, next month. And there's a lot. There's so much stuff coming up from Paizo in December that I'm going to break this up. So I'm going to talk Pathfinder tonight. Monday, I'll share the news of what's coming for Starfinder. Usually I just put it all together and we have like a 10-minute news piece, right? So this will be a little bit long. So let me point out that if you have no interest in Pathfinder, go take a bathroom break, go walk around the block, go make yourself a sandwich, pour yourself an adult beverage. I'll be here when you come back. All right. That being said, here's the dope on all the new goodies coming from Paizo Inc. for Pathfinder. And first off, we're going to have the Pathfinder Adventure Path 162, Ruins of the Radiant Siege. This is the conclusion of the Agents of Edgewatch Adventure Path. Here we go. The Agents of Edgewatch Adventure Path, which I just said, reaches its exciting climax. Only one member of the fiendish Twilight Four remains, but having completed her pact with the murderous god Norgorber, the already powerful politician, spoilers, all spoilers. The already powerful politician has risen to new heights as she is imbued with both a spark of divinity and the authority of Absalom's crown. Now, the heroic Edgewatch agents must stop a massive excavator before it stampedes the entire Radiant Festival fairgrounds. Then, secure a sacred relic long hidden in one of Absalom's most famous siege castles. With this powerful artifact in hand, all that's left is to ascend the reanimated nightmarescape of Beldrin's Tower and face off against the demonic Grey Queen once and for all. Ruins of the Radiant Siege is a Pathfinder adventure for 4 18th level characters. This adventure concludes the Agents of Edgewatch Adventure Path, a 6-part monthly campaign in which players take on the role of city watchdogs and dole out justice to Absalom's most nefarious criminal elements. This volume also includes new rules and inspiring legends about the otherworldly harbingers of fear, the Shakils, the long-abandoned and treasure-laden siege castles that dot Absalom's perimeter, and a pack of new monsters and villains for urban fantasy campaigns. Each monthly full-color softcover Pathfinder Adventure Path volume, say that 5 times fast, contains an in-depth adventure scenario, stats for several new monsters, and support articles meant to give game masters additional material to expand their campaign. Pathfinder Adventure Path volumes use the open game license and work with both the Pathfinder RPG and the world's oldest fantasy RPG. The softcover will carry an MSRP of $24.99. It'll be available in PDF for $17.99. Then we've got the Pathfinder Adventure Troubles in Otari. In Atari? Really? The 2600? Oh, sorry, Otari. Onward to Adventure. This exciting adventure anthology expands the realm beyond the hometown introduced in the Pathfinder Beginner Box and begins thrilling new dangers to the hero's doorsteps. Designed for use with the rules in the Pathfinder Beginner Box and the perfect bridge to the exciting options of the full Pathfinder core rulebook, these adventures take your heroes to 4th level and beyond as they venture further into the nearby wilderness and face fearsome foes lurking all too close to home. The anthology's 3 adventures introduce a number of playstyles, including clearing out an abandoned fish camp. Of what? Dead fish? A sandbox romp to get to the bottom of sabotage, and a classic puzzle-filled dungeon crawl. Troubles in Otari is a deluxe adventure for 4th-level characters written by Jason Keeley, Liz Liddell, and Ron Lundeen. Don't know if this is going to be in PDF. Probably, but they're only showing the softcover MSRP $22.99. So, you got Troubles in Otari, so now you're going to want the Pathfinder flip map. Troubles in Otari. Bring the exciting adventures of the Troubles in Otari Pathfinder Adventure Anthology to life on your tabletop with this double-sided full-color flip mat featuring key encounter locations from the Pathfinder 2nd Edition adventure. You guessed it, Troubles in Otari, on either side. One side depicts a mostly abandoned fish camp. I don't know what's with this fish camp. And the other side shows a sinister and monster-filled dungeon. So we've got an abandoned fish camp and then a monster-filled dungeon. Both are prominent locations in the adventures. Pathfinder Flip Mat Troubles in Otari measures 24 inches by 30 inches unfolded and 8 by 10 folded. A flip mat's coated surface can handle any dry erase, wet erase, or even permanent marker. Usable by experienced GMs and novices alike, Pathfinder flip mats fit perfectly into any game master's arsenal. On the tabletops across the world, the flip mat revolution is changing the way players run their fantasy role-playing games. Why take the time to sketch out ugly scenery on a smudgy plastic mat when dynamic encounters and easy cleanup is just a flip away? The MSRP is $14.99. All right, I was going to see if I could get through all of this without taking a sip, but I got to take a sip. I got to. Then we've got the Pathfinder Player Character Pawn Collection. Show off your character with the Player Character Pawn Collection, featuring more than 200 pawns for use with Pathfinder 2nd Edition or any tabletop fantasy RPG. Printed on sturdy cardstock, each pawn represents a beautiful full-color image to represent a wide variety of player characters. Each cardstock pawn slots into a size-appropriate plastic base from any of the bestiary box collections or the Pathfinder Pawns base assortment, making the pawns easy to mix with traditional metal or plastic miniatures. There's one pawn for every combination of ancestry and class from the core rulebook. This product also supports the Advanced Player's Guide, which I recently reviewed, with a selection of pawns for every new ancestry in that book, a pawn for each archetype, as well as a pawn for every combination of core rulebook, ancestry, and Advanced Player's Guide classes. You'll also find a selection of pawns for the ancestries in Lost Omens character guide, as well as multiple familiars and animal companions. Cool. I like that. Nice. This is going to carry an MSRP of $24.99. Then we've got the Pathfinder Spell Cards Advanced Player's Guide. Now, we got a theme there, right? Expand the array of magic at your fingertips with Pathfinder Spell Cards Advanced Player's Guide. This must-have accessory for spellcasting characters contains more than 150 spell reference cards containing the spells from every tradition and all focus spells from, you guessed it, the Pathfinder Advanced Player's Guide in one place, giving you immediate access to key game details without flipping pages. Players can easily arrange and plan their spells within moments, and a quick scan of the cards presents a caster's tactical options at a glance. The possibilities are endless, but Pathfinder spell cards let you master the mysteries of magic. It's carrying an MSRP of $24.99. Then we got the Pathfinder Flip Mat Classics Slum Quarter. Whether your party's tracking a gang of notorious thieves or hiding out from the law themselves, no game master wants to spend time drawing every cluttered alley and squalid flophouse. Oh, I hate having to draw squalid flophouses. Fortunately, with Paizo's latest Pathfinder Flip Mat, you don't have to. This line of gaming maps provides ready-to-use fantasy set pieces for the busy game master. Full of beautiful details, including a battered gatehouse, dozens of hovels, and maze-like back streets, this double-sided map makes the perfect setting for forays into any city's seamier side. Don't waste your time sketching when you could be playing. With Pathfinder Flipmat Classic Slum Quarter, you'll be prepared next time your players head to the wrong side of town. So carry an MSRP of $14.99. And then finally, we have the Pathfinder Flip Tiles Wilderness Starter Set. What do you do when the heroes get lost in the woods or decide to head off-road to seek adventures? With the Pathfinder Flip Tiles Wilderness Starter Set, we've got you covered. This set features 42 full-color, 6 by 6 inch map tiles with all manner of wilderness tangles and terrains to explore. Both sides stunningly crafted by cartographer Jason A. Engel. These exciting new tiles put an endless wild land at your fingertips. Suitable for experienced GMs and novices alike, this product fits perfectly into any game master's arsenal. Wet, dry, and permanent markers erase from the tiles. These double-sided cavern tiles come in convenient packaging for easy storage. Explore the wilderness to your heart's content. So carry an MSRP of $34.99. So there's some discussion about Pathfinder here. So, oh yes, there's the Conan RPG Humble Bundle, Grade A's pointing out. That just launched. That's, I already had my news done when I ran across that. Anyway, a Grade A points out that they are going to get the Otari anthology, and that they had pre-ordered the Pathfinder 2nd edition starter set. Nice, very cool. And some discussion of the flip mats and map cards. So yes, they recycle them too much. Yes, there is a lot that that I do understand that they have kind of recycled the same artwork over and over again. Anyway, so Flaming Heron says they don't do well if you roll them up. You have to use something to hold the corners down while playing. Those out there who play war games with paper maps already know you just get a good old piece of plexiglass, or some people use glass, pop it on top, easy peasy. Of course, I would think you'd be able to, well, hopefully be able to use dry erase and stuff like that on there and get that off. All right, final news piece. There is a new Delta Green role-playing game adventure collection. It's arrived in PDF from Art Dream Publishing. I've got the dope on Black Sites. Hidden Horrors. It is absolutely necessary for the peace and safety of mankind that some of Earth's dark, dead corners and unplumbed depths be let alone, lest sleeping abnormalities wake to resurgent life and the blasphemously surviving nightmares squirm and splash out of their black layers to newer and wider conquests. That is from At the Mountains of Madness by H.P. Lovecraft. Delta Green Black Sites collects 7 Delta Green operations that were previously published only in PDF or in standalone paperback modules. They lock bystanders and agents alike in unlit rooms with the cosmic terrors of the unnatural. Unwanted survivals rise from death. That doesn't make sense. Unwanted survivals? Okay. Rise from death or slumber into the nightmarish life of humanity. We've got PX Poker Night, which I reviewed. At an isolated Air Force base, discontented service members listen to the night sky and hear secrets not meant for human ears. Spoilers. Updated for Delta Green, the role-playing game, and featuring new illustrations by Dennis Detweiler. It's written by Dennis Detweiler and Adam Scott Glancy. Then there's Caligari. A Delta Green operative goes missing from a combat base in the Afghanistan war. A handful of agents in country must learn what discovery lured him across the wire. Then they must bring him home. It's written by Shane Ivey. We've got The Last Equation. A gifted university student guns down a family of total strangers, leaving behind a string of numbers that fills Delta Green's researchers with dread. Can your agent stop the next horrific slaughter? Written by Dennis Detweiler. There's a Lover in the Ice, which I am about to review. A bitter Midwestern winter shuts down a city and awakens a threat that is all too ready to spread. Featuring new illustrations by Dennis Detweiler, it's written by Caleb Stokes. Then we've got Sweetness. Vandalism on a family home makes the police fear a hate crime. Delta Green recognizes the symbol for something worse. What connections have these ordinary people made to bring such danger to their door? Written by Dennis Detweiler. We've got Hourglass. A woman vanishes screaming in front of dozens of witnesses in a small Oregon town. Your agents must find what killed her, stop the threat, and make sure no one else ever learns the truth. No one. It's written by Shade Ivy. And then there's Ex Oblivion, which I did review. Vicious murders stain the Arizona desert. Crazed words sprawled at a crime scene hint at I don't know how to pronounce it. And the sea. A handful of agents have a chance to claim vengeance for ancient wrongs. Or suffer it. Written by Dennis Detweiler. Then we've got The Child. A traumatized child looks to the agents for protection from voices that never cease. There's also an index which helps handlers build broader connections between horrors in their campaigns. Delta Green Black Site scenarios are playable with the Agent's Handbook and the Handler's Guide, or with the Quick Start rules in Delta Green Need to Know. This 208-page PDF is available right now at DriveThruRPG for $19.99. There is a hardcover on the horizon. I don't know when. I do not know when that will be out. But gotta say, that is a lot of Delta Green gaming goodness for a reasonable price, $19.99. Because I gotta be honest, I think normally these adventures in PDF are like $4.99. You're actually getting a pretty good deal. And the adventures I have reviewed, I've reviewed 2 of them. I have a third from this collection. The other 2 I thought were pretty good. Pretty gross. But I mean, it is modern horror. So, but might want to take a peek. As I mentioned, $19.99 in PDF over at DriveThruRPG. And of course, when I talk about DriveThruRPG or any of the One Bookshelf sites, keep in mind the Gaming Gang, thus the Daily Dope, are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to go visit, say, I don't know, DriveThruRPG, Dungeon Masters Guild, Storyteller's Vault, maybe you're even going over to Wargame Vault, Wargamers Vault, Wargame Vault. I don't know. I'm almost never over there, so I forget. They don't do a lot of sales and freebies over at the Wargame site, so it's like, oh, okay. Anyway, if you are going to go visit one of those sites, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you do make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. And all those little portions really do add up and help keep the Gaming Gang website around. So here's something kind of funny, right? I don't know who out there may have seen this. You may want to check it out. I thought it was pretty funny. So we were just talking about like the Cthulhu mythos and that. So on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert last night, he was talking about write-in votes in, I think it was Vermont, for president. And Cthulhu received, I don't know if it was one, because I guess Vermont has to reveal everybody who got a vote. And Cthulhu received the vote. And then Stephen Colbert kind of goes on to this whole thing with like Cthulhu demanding a recount. And it was pretty funny. He went out for a couple of minutes about, and it's very Lovecraftian. He's used a lot of like really kind of off the wall verbiage and stuff. So yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. I thought that was pretty good. All right. So that is it for tonight's news. So Flaming Heron says, I kind of hover over drive-thru RPG and don't check the rest. Yeah, I mean, you got to be, for an example, you got to be a World of Darkness player to go over to Storyteller's Vault. You really got to be playing D&D to go over to Dungeon Masters Guild. So, yeah, I got to be honest, I spend more time over at drive-thru RPG myself, too. And that is actually one of the reasons why you see me share way more news pieces about drive-thru RPG than DM's Guild or anything else. Once in a while, I'll have something from DM's Guild that caught my eye. Anyway, so I had mentioned that I might do an auction, a game auction. So I'm going to take a look at some stuff this weekend and see what I can put together. So there's that. Dunno. All depends. All depends on what ends up going on. Yeah, because every day is something. It's always something different cooking here. But I do want to point out, I got some upcoming reviews. So I will be reviewing the new edition of The King is Dead from Osprey Games, designed by Pierre Sylvester, who designed the Lost Expedition, which I am a big fan of. So this is on the very near horizon. Under Falling Skies, which is a solitaire game, which is from Czech Games Edition. So I am showing you the demo copy because this is what I have to shoot the video with, is the demo copy. I'm not allowed to shoot it with the real copy. So that's kind of funny. And also from Osprey Games is Undaunted Normandy. Yes, I had a chance to play this with my nephew Cameron. Played a few games of it. I will tell you what I think. Now, this was Dice Tower Essential, and it's sit down and shut up, must play. Oh, you'll find out what I think. I'm not saying anything yet. I'm not saying it's bad. Don't read anything into that. I'm just saying I'm not giving anything away. So also today I had the first volume of the illustrated At the Mountains of Madness arrive from my friends over at Free League Publishing. So I will probably shoot a video with this, but I will probably skip through some pages because I don't necessarily want to share all the artwork of what is essentially an art book, right? It's online. Like, why bother getting it, right? I'll just blow that screen up, take some screenshots, print that up, just like the pirates did with the Rime of the Frost Maiden. Man, you got to be really desperate for a D&D book to do that. Oh, speaking of D&D, I also received the great Dalmuti. This is the 25th anniversary edition, which has a kind of a D&D tie-in because the original card game doesn't, as well as the Dungeon Master Screen Wilderness Kit. As I bump the mic. So this is the DM screen, and then I took a peek. It's not like a booklet or anything. It's just kind of, I don't know. Here, I'll show you. Sort of like, well, actually, it's a little too bright. So I think you're just getting glare with this, right? It's it's just treated sheets. So this is like Wilderness Journeys. It's got some info. It's got some charts. I'll have to take a look to see what the MSRP is. So, Grade A points out the Freelagan. You misspelled it, by the way. Twitter feed is gone. That is correct. Their Twitter feed is now Free League Pub. I ran across that myself. So, yes, that has been gone for a few days. But, yes, it is at Free League Pub. So, which makes sense, to be honest. I mean, it is Free League Publishing. And they sell far more English language books than they do in Swedish. So, I don't know. Flaming Heron's kind of curious what at the Mountains of Madness looks like. I am going to take a peek at it. So I'll do a review. I will definitely do a review. Like I got this about 5 minutes before I started the stream. I opened it up. I was like, I wonder what that is. So Brian says the DM's Screen and Wilderness Kit has handouts for tracking food supplies. Yes, it also has some hex maps as well. So, yeah, so Great Days like, thanks, Jeff. Yeah, because it was funny because I posted a news piece about Free League Publishing, and then when I checked to make sure that the image actually shows up in the tweet, it was showing that was like an incorrect Twitter address. And I was like, what? It's like, what are you talking about? It's at Freya Lagan. I was like, what the? And I did a search and it showed Free League Pub. I was like, oh, okay. So Great A's asking if I got the COC book. Are you referring to Children of Fear? Because I got the PDF review. I sent that to Sammy. Because remember, I don't review PDFs. There's no way I'm going to do PDF reviews. Especially, I tried doing a couple of videos for PDF reviews, and I personally thought they were boring as hell. So I'm not sure which COC. See, it's funny because I always refer to Call of Cthulhu as C of C. So does Elliot. So does my friend Ed. So, that's just what we always call it, C of C. So when I see COC, I'm like, what is that? Oh, yeah, that's right. That's how most people will do that. From Freya Lagan, the Call of Cthulhu book oh, you're talking about the illustrated one. No, I don't. I don't have that. So you got to realize that I suddenly had a really good relationship with Free League Publishing, with their PR person. And then she left. And after she left, it was kind of like, that was it. So essentially, for about a year, they were pretty much sending me whatever came out. And then she left, and that was it. There was like nothing. And then she came back, and she reached out to me, and she's like, Jeff, is there anything that I can get you? Because they like my coverage. So yeah. So that's when Murkberg showed up. And Wasson, Yassen, however it's pronounced. Right? So everybody say what C of C stands for. Chain of Command, Corrosion of Conformity. Anyway, so I just wanted to show what's on the horizon. There was somebody mentioned something about, I think they were talking about Undaunted North Africa. Yep, got that too. Just hadn't busted it out to play it yet. So, all right. So lots on the horizon, lots going on. I got tons of other stuff. So we should be good. We should be good. Oh, I also have the now I can't remember the name of it. The adventure supplement for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, 4th edition. The most recent one, the adventure collection. The hell, I'm zoning. I keep wanting to say, oh yeah, what is it? Rough Nights and Rough Days or something like that. I'm like, what? No, that's not it. So Flaming Huron says they really got into Free League Publishing stuff because of me. So hopefully I continue to get their stuff. Once again, let me point out, I know this sounds super weird, but bear with me for a minute. If you purchase something from any of these companies that I share a news piece for, or I do a review, or we talk about them, or whatever, do me a favor and reach out to them and let them know. Let them know, hey, you know what? For an example, like Flaming Huron, just take a couple of moments, just send shoot an email, Free League, and say, hey, I just want to let you know I really got turned on to your releases through Jeff McAleer at the Gaming Gang. Really love your stuff. You'd be amazed how far that goes. Because most of the time, these companies don't have any clue what is helping them move product. They really, really do not. So Flaming Heron says, Rough Nights and Hard Days. Yes, that was the title that I keep wanting to say it is, but that's not what it is. So, all right. But like I said, yeah, if you buy something based on a review, please reach out and say, hey, you know, I saw Jeff McAleer over at the Gaming Gang do a review. I picked up your game because of that review or what have you. Goes a long way. And to be honest, it also helps. It'll keep review copies coming in. So it's like, you know, circle of life going on there. All righty. That's it for tonight. Pretty long show. I wonder what I'm at as far as views on that Tasha's Cauldron of everything. I would take a guess, probably about 2,000 views by now. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe 1,800. All right. Anyway. So if it turns out that you like this video, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And of course, if you do subscribe, ding that bell. So that way, not only do you know when the Daily Dope streams live, Monday through Thursday nights, right here on YouTube, I'll also tell you when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming review of The Great Del Moody. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. All right, everybody enjoy your Friday, your Saturday, your Sunday. Have a great weekend. But also, things are getting pretty scary. Not that they haven't been scary already. They're getting scarier with this damn COVID-19. So I will be back on Monday. And in the meantime, I certainly do hope all of you out there make sure that you're being smart and staying safe. See you next week. Oh, you're still here. Well, once again, thank you very much for watching this video. And of course, if you'd like to subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel, click right here. And of course, if you want to see one of the latest episodes of the Daily Dope, click right on up here. And if you want to roll the dice, take your chances, see what YouTube thinks you might like from the channel, give a click right here. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and I'll see you next time.